Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to our second Fanfic Fossil Friday. In case you cannot tell by what the fuck is going on here, this fanfic is going to be a Labyrinth fanfic. I'm so pumped for this. Okay, so backing up a little bit. I was looking for a fanfic, and I was like, well, let's go to the most garbage website for fanfiction that's still up, that is, and that would be fanfiction.net. AO3 Master Race. So I was just browsing and I saw that there were sections, because I think I clicked on movies, and as I was going through I saw Labyrinth and I was like, wait, what? Labyrinth? Like, first of all, you have to understand, I am a huge David Bowie fan. Like I don't really cry when people die, but when he died, like, the whole day was just waterfalls. So I saw that Labyrinth was on there, and I was a little surprised that there were almost 10,000 fan fictions listed under that. Yeah, so I went in there and I sorted it by date, and then I went to last. So the very first fan fiction that was ever posted on this site, on fanfiction.net, under Labyrinth, was from January 7th, 1999. Oh my god, that made me so giddy. Do you realize that this fanfiction is almost 22 years old? Like, the two stipulations were they have to be at the bare minimum 8 years old, and they have to be bad. They don't have to be like really bad, but they have to be like bad. And while I don't want to tear down anything that's related to Labyrinth, because I love that movie, I did read through it and I read some of the comments, and it seems it's questionable. I didn't read the whole thing, I just kind of like skimmed. So I guess we're going to find out together. I was gonna try to do like a little closet cosplay, but then I remembered I have like probably 4 Labyrinth shirts, and this is the one that I wear the least because it is very extra. And while I am very extra, I try to not be too extra, like, sometimes. So I don't wear this one often, also because it's tight, and if I'm not wearing a binder, then dysphoria, A. So yeah, here is this super extra, fantastic, like this whole thing is just like printed on here, and I love it, like all the way down to the very bottom. I love this shirt. Also, before anybody comes at me in the comments and says, hey, why are you wearing only one blue contact? Like, he doesn't have heterochromia. Both of his eyes are blue. Like, I know. Even though it doesn't look like it on here, on there, I know. And you know what? It hurt me to do this because, like, factually, I know. But, like, visually, it looks brown. I know. Don't come at me in the comments. I know that they're both blue. I know that one pupil is just a different size. This is the best I could do. I have so much glue on my face right now. Like, I did this with no tutorial. None. It doesn't look awful, but it doesn't look great. I think I should have used brown instead of black. I kind of look like somewhere between a glam rock Vulcan and that cat chick from Treasure Planet. All of this was difficult, okay? I put entirely too much effort into this, but at the same time, like, I waited till the last second to do this. I'm glad I picked a shorter fic. The name of the fic is called Demon Lover. Just already, I know this is gonna be some quality stuff. And the author is Bamfy, which I assume Bamf as in badass motherfucker. So this person is Bamfy. There is a note before the fic that reads, "Standard disclaimer stuff, Sarah and Jareth aren't mine, though these particular incarnations are, you'll see what I mean. Again, this is a rewrite of a short story that I posted last September." Oh my god, that means there's something from 98. I didn't see it, but okay. I wanted to rework it, and it's been a pet project since, so here we go. It's not explicit, though it does have some suggestive stuff near the end. Ooh, we're in for a treat, although that does make me uncomfy because he's an old-ass goblin, and she is a literal child. Yeah, I'm suddenly just very, no, okay. I don't think it will offend. The title was taken from the name of a short story I read a while ago, but I don't remember the author's name, blah, 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 blah. Okay, rest of this, irrelevant. Let's go. I'm also going to try to do voices. I realized while editing my last one that, like, I probably could have done some voices to differentiate between the two, but also I can be a shy person, and also I'm just not very good at voices, except for, like, a really obnoxious Valley Girl voice that nobody wants to hear. But I will try my best. She trudged along the dusty ground, the wind whipping her hair. "Go away!" No, that was too extra. "Go away," she whispered harshly to the wind. The too hot sun beat down on her without reply. Yeah, it's not gonna... Alright. This suffering was her own creation, she knew. It had all began a few months ago, and something deep within her recognized the day's strange events as a warning that the end result was near. She had always been intrigued by fairy tales, most probably because her own life was such a horror. Her mother abandoned her when she was small. She grew up with only her father and the shadow of her mother's fame, so the stories became her means of escape. But while most little girls revered the heroines, though, she always despised them, with their princes that always ran to their rescue. Where was her knight in shining armor, she wanted to know. As she had grown, her taste had changed slightly, sliding more and more into darker magic and the occult. She grew accustomed to holding strange rites in the dark sanctity of her room, mostly out of curiosity as to what would happen. She was skeptical of it all, and unsurprisingly, nothing ever came of her dabbling. But there was another part of her, though she did not want to admit it, that was longing for it to really work. I'm assuming that's supposed to be longing. For one of her spells to conjure up some black sprite from the pits of hell, just so she'd have someone to talk with. Which is why, she supposed, she spent so much time searching in musty bookstores and dimly lit libraries for long-forgotten texts. College life was dull for her. As an aspiring actress, she was a flop. Oh, okay. They aged her up. It's fine. I feel less icky about this. She was a flop, so she had been sent adrift on a sea of hopelessness. She was unsure of what to do with herself now. Of course she pretended, for her father's sake, that she had some idea of what she was doing, but in truth she found herself drifting more and more towards depression and despair. Her one real thrill was finding those ancient tomes. One evening, in a particularly out-of-the-way shop on the edge of town, she found a small book, bound in red leather, richly embossed. She began reading and was instantly fascinated. Here was a nether-realm demon worthy of her attentions. This demon, the Goblin King, Lord of the Labyrinth, is fond of young maidens who call on him to take away unwanted babes. He is said to make a challenge to the girl, and may keep both her and the child if she fails. He can be summoned simply by calling upon him. The book was titled Demons and Spirits of the Underground. She bought the book and retreated to her loft. The apartments in the college town were far out of her price range, but she found an attic loft for rent cheaply. It was small but close to the college, and she was left alone. She had spent the whole night reading the book. The character of the Goblin King completely captivated her. She soaked up every detail of his being, even thrilled with a kind of sick passion at the tales of his cruelty. She was inexplicably drawn to his dark nature, and found in herself a new void that had opened. Edgy. Gaping and yearning, or some vile ecstasy to fill it. God damn it. Even still, it took her fully 2 nights to work up the courage to call him. Is this like that role where like if you get somebody's number, you have to wait to call them? I feel like that's what this is. She lit every candle she owned and sat in the middle of her room. She took a deep breath. Jareth, Goblin King, come to the one who calls for you. Come to the one who needs you. Come to me. No sooner had the words been spoken than the wind set up howling outside. She could hear branches lashing against the windows and lightning flash through the curtains. A roar of thunder ripped through the air, causing her to jump. What have I done? What have I done? She was starting to panic. Shadows were dancing around her room in fiendish ways. The wind seemed to have penetrated the very room, making the candles flicker, and then, all at once, go out. At the same time, the whole room was plunged into unearthly silence. A break of warm air tickled the back of her neck, sending a shiver down her spine. You don't know how long I've waited, Sarah. I haven't been called in such a long time. Oh my god. Okay. A melodic voice whispered in her ear. Her pulse quickened and something deep within her stirred at that voice. Who are you? She stammered. Oh, I think you know. You called me after all. But I didn't think you were real, she cried. He laughed, a cold, hollow sound. Let me see you. No, I've decided that I hate this. God, I had forgot how much I honestly did not care for her character. Yeah, I was mostly just in it for Bowie. Wait. Okay, the way this is written is very unclear. Okay, the let me see you part is actually her asking, let me see you. Got it. I can't. Not yet. I'm not strong enough. Soon, though. Soon. His voice died away in a sweet whisper. He had grown stronger in the following weeks. She had awoken one night to see him leaning against the door frame. He had pallid skin and an angular face. His white blonde hair was cut in a strange spiky fashion, with longer strands cascading around his face. He was... God damn it, are we really doing this? Damn it. Now the question is, do I steal Taya's bit? Fuck it. He was dressed in black boots that came to his knees, black pants, and red velvet doublet. Rebooting. Over this, he wore a kind of breastplate with a strange symbol set into it. She got out of bed and walked to him. She looked into his eyes, one blue, one hazel. No, absolutely not. Look at me, okay? I know, but he was punched in the face, okay? Perfectly normal blue eyes, punched in the face, eye damage, and then the pupil stayed dilated, okay? So you see more black, less blue, seeing less blue. In certain lights, it kind of sort of looks brownish, but like it's still blue. Both of his eyes are blue, okay? They're both blue, just so we're clear. Like, I don't know why I'm very, like firm on this, but they're both blue. He does not have heterochromia. Cool. She raised her hand to touch his cheek, but her hand passed right through him. Soon I'll be as real as you are, dear Sarah. You called me back when I was almost forgotten. Much longer and I would have been trapped in the underground forever. I'm in debt to you, and I promise I never forget a debt. There was something almost threatening in the statement. Sarah found herself wondering just what she'd gotten herself into. She found herself obsessing over him, not a habit she had ever had before. Things caught and held her interest, yes, but never had she been subject to such a whole-spirited mania. She never tired of hearing his voice. She could always hear him, even when she was at school. There would be a puff of air and her whispered name. It always made her tingle. Soon she could think of nothing but him. Her whole being was linked to him. A mere word from him could set her frame a-tremble. She needed to hear him, to see him. The ecstasy she felt when she was near him was nothing compared to the agony when she was not. Sarah began to lose herself in a treacherous landslide of fantasy, so that she could hardly tell the real world from her imagination. Maybe there was no boundary. She thought darkly. Maybe she was making her dreams real. She was tumbling headlong into a new realm of emotion, even depravity. She caught herself thinking things that sickened her once she recognized them. She realized she was beginning to lose control of her life. Come with me, Sarah. I can show you your dreams. A crystal ball he had conjured out of thin air rested in the palm of his hand. He held it level with her eyes. Leave this place. What happiness is there for you here? I can give you a life you never imagined. He pulled her against him and held her fast. It's what you want. His voice was low and menacing. No, she shouted, shaking her head. Her sable hair flew around her. You're trying to control me. Leave me alone. He gave her a cold look. Sarah, don't defy me. With that warning, he vanished into the night. He hadn't returned for quite a few nights, and for a little while she thought he had actually left. That, or he had been a figment of her mind. Then one night, she saw him in a dream. They were standing on a windswept hill beneath a rusty sky. Spread out before them was the labyrinth, ever winding in upon itself, changing even as she watched. This could all be yours, Sarah. Just love me, do as I say, and I will be your slave. I don't want you, she almost screamed. Foolish girl, he snarled. You will be mine. This I vow. She awoke in a cold sweat. She had been living in fear of him for weeks now. Fear? Bitch, I thought you were... When did it turn to fear, though? How has it been weeks? How long was he gone? Dreading the moments when she could feel invisible kisses trail down her neck. Whoa, okay. Did we get consent for this? This is 2 for 2 now. Did we get consent? Dreading the moments when she could feel invisible kisses trail down her neck, feel his intangible fingers caress her skin. These sensual moments were always balanced, though, by another kind of torment. Oh no, oh no, oh no. This is worse than the last one. Bite marks would appear, as did bloody welts up and down her arms as if fingernails had been scraped across her skin. Look, even if that is her kink, consent. Oh my god. Oh my god. I mean, this is Jareth we're talking about, but whew, okay, alright. Oh, look, another bite mark. Oh my god. Okay, so I finished this video. I uploaded all my files onto my computer, and then I looked, and the last file, like the last segment of this video, was corrupted, and I could cry. But that's what I get for getting a cheap SD card, I suppose. So yeah, I'm glad I didn't take any of this off yet. I have like an hour before I need to start getting ready for an appointment that I need to go to. So I am going to quickly go back over the rest of this. Need to go back into my Jareth persona. Oh boy, we're right in the thick of my favorite part. Okay. He could strike her every nerve with such paralyzing anguish that she blacked out. Her face was pummeled by invisible fists in uncontrolled rage, and then her split and bloody lips would be kissed with equal tenderness, and the bruises would vanish. God, even reading it a second time is just, wow. He could inspire her to madness with a single half-felt caress. In true poltergeist fashion, he would hurl things around the room, books, faces, and even her reading lamp. He pinched and poked at her during the day, so that she squirmed in her seat during lectures. The worst torment of all, though, was his voice in her head. At once maddening and exquisite, one moment laughing maniacally, and then soothing in low tones. She slowly slipped from sane thought and searched desperately for any logic that could explain away this seeming malady. There was none. She felt a sickening twist in the pit of her stomach whenever she tried to ascertain just how far he had managed to ingrain himself into her mind. There was no end to the hallucinatory images she saw of him in crowds or dark places. And was the voice that called her like a lover's caress real and palpable, or was it only another symptom of her obvious estrangement from reality? She grew frightened, and her wide eyes filled with tears when she tried to stare into the yawning pit of insanity that was stretching ever wider in front of her. Yet thoughts of him, even in their most terrifying of moments, fed her with such an unearthly pleasure that she lost herself in his fiendish and wicked manipulations. Girl? Sarah ceased almost to care. She raised her head and peered at the dry landscape. The wind blew hard, making it difficult to even walk. Crows flew in front of her and called at her passing. How could he have grown so strong? The dusty air parched her lips and throat. Too hot for late September. She hurried towards home. Damn you, Jareth! She screamed into the air. As if in reply, some unseen wind-blown object cut across the inside of her arm, because apparently he's trying to kill her now. She stared in mute horror as blood welled out of the laceration inches from her wrist. She stifled a low groan as the sun sank below the horizon, and she reached home. Clutching her injured arm, she hurried inside. She quickly bandaged the cut and ran into her bedroom. Of course, now my neighbors are outside talking, being loud, now that this file's corrupted and I need to finish this. Great. Come to me, Jareth. Show yourself. The wind howled louder. There was a laugh behind her. I knew you'd call. He walked towards her and touched his gloved hand to her cheek. Real as you are, you've made me strong, Sarah. I thrive on your passion. Why are you doing this to me? I helped you, now leave me alone. I love you, Sarah. Why won't you accept it? Why won't you open your eyes and see the world around you, what your life has become? There is only one path for you to take. You're a monster. And you love me, isn't it so? Look deep inside yourself, see that it is. Admit it. No! She ran from the house in a panic. The streets were all deserted, with no moon to cast a glow. The only illumination came from a few scattered street lamps and the clouds overhead, which seemed to have a sickly luminescence all their own. She shivered as it reminded her vaguely of a horror movie set. Any minute the demon was going to round the corner behind her. She almost laughed at her foolishness when the wind picked up. It buffered around her with an unbelievable amount of force. Its hideous roar drowned out almost all other sound. In fact, the only other accompaniment to the cacophony of the dry rattle of leaves as they scuttled past her. Then there was another sound. It came quietly at first, then louder and louder, until it rivaled the noise of the wind. A sharp click-click on the pavement behind her. The demon had arrived. She started to run, struggling against the wind that threw her about like a rag doll. It was an icy wind that cut her to the bone, more like November now. The heat that had assaulted her earlier had vanished and left a frigid chill in its wake. She ran faster and faster, gasping for breath. The footsteps followed, never quickening, but always right behind her. Click, click, click. She sprinted blindly now, not caring what was ahead of her, only trying to escape what was behind her, the unearthly predator who would not end his pursuit until he got what he wanted. Ahead of her, a large branch came crashing down. She skidded to a halt, panting, throat searing for want of breath. The footsteps stopped. What do you want? She cried in a hysterical voice. You. He looked down at her with a scowl. No need to make this so difficult. Come with me. Forget about your life. I can't, she sobbed. She started to run again, but tripped over the gnarled tree branch and landed with a sickening snap. She would run no more. He stood over her with demonic splendor. Such a pity. You should have given up when you had the chance. You know you can't escape. Yes, she said weakly, closing her eyes. She had no strength left to resist him. Her leg throbbed painfully and tears sprung up in her eyes. Then you're mine? Yes. Forever? Yes, she whispered in reply. He lifted her fragile form and held her against him. She felt his soft lips on hers, trailing back to her ear, on her eyelids. She collapsed against him, giving in completely. Forever. She lost herself to the embrace of the demon lover. So yeah, that is the end of that. I don't know what to call it. I'm very mixed on this one. Like, it was sort of kind of good in some places, but wow. I am at least thankful that there was some aging up happening so that things were less creepy, but still definitely very creepy and abusive with all the weird, like, bite marks and just all that. No, just I feel like I'm gonna start like a consent tally, or like a lack of consent tally for every fanfic where there's just like weird non-consensual stuff happening, because we're already 2 for 2. Yikes. Hey guys, so it's a little after midnight here on Friday morning. I'm trying to edit this and get this busted out before, like, I don't know, noon. There was something, like a point that I had made in my original take that is now corrupted. I don't remember exactly what it was that I said, but basically this story in particular kind of amplified Jareth's manipulative and abusive tendencies, because obviously in the original film, like, it was very much there, and if you're aware of what it is, you can see it. But it was also like kind of a kids movie, so they kind of had to be a little more subtle with it. But like throughout the movie, he like belittles Sarah and anybody who helps her, and is just very like persistent, and yeah, like absolutely will not stop to get what he wants. But I feel like that was taken to an entirely new level with this fic. It's not bad, like the writing itself isn't bad, it's not great, but it's not bad. It's an interesting way to kind of alter the story, especially like with the aging up and taking Toby out of the equation and all that. This story definitely was, I don't know how to describe it. It was just a weird way of rewriting it and inserting some fantasies, I suppose. Fantasies for the sake of fantasies. I'm gonna leave it at that. So anyway, back to the video. Yeah, anyway, so I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. I tried to keep this one short because, one, I am running out of time. I usually do these things, or usually, like, okay, my plan was to do these like a few days ahead of time, so that way I would have time to record it, edit it, and make sure that it was up on Friday. It's Thursday. Yeah, so that's completely my bad. I was having some technical issues, and also I'm just kind of a procrastinator. So yeah, I am going to wrap this up. Hopefully this time the file will not corrupt, and then I need to take off all of this, all the makeup and glue that's going on here, get ready, go to an appointment, come back here, edit this a little bit, die for a bit, edit this some more, and hope that I can get it done in time for tomorrow. Yeah, so anyway, thank you so much for watching this. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit subscribe and hit the bell so that way you can get notifications whenever I make another post. So I will see you next week. Okay, thanks, bye.